can go floss before we do this.
Nah, it's fine.
All right.
This episode is brought to you by me doing the proper research so I can elaborate on the story for you viewers.
This episode is also brought to you by Smooth Jazz. This is Real Garbage.
Hello!
What's happening?
Not a lot, just chilling on this late evening.
It has been. What was it? Hit right at 11. Ugh. Can't even talk right now. What is it, like 11? Almost
Yeah.
11? It is a 10:52. It's not that late. As
It
I'm
is
like,
when you're... Yeah, you're like, oh,
When
I
you
gotta
work-
get up in the morning.
when you work a regular 9 to 5, like me, like this working stiff over here. Well, yeah. Oh God. So I was gonna say this episode's brought to you by the government. They can go fuck themselves. Because I just got a letter for. I love how they just reassess you every now and then. They're like, we just reassessed your 2017 tax forms, and you actually owe us a bunch of money. I'm like, God damn it.
What?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was nice. It was a nice little surprise on Monday. I was like,
Ew.
oh, great, this email from Canada Revenue Agency. And then I check out. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just a fake one because sometimes it is. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
Then you check your actual one on there. And you're like, oh, no. God, no. This is terrible. It's a horrible feeling. I hate money. I
Yeah.
really just hate how everything runs on money. Can't wait. I wish we could just go back to like trading.
Barter.
Yeah,
Bartering.
trade stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I'll do a little bit of work for you for some of this food and some of this. Be an interesting way to live a life.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really care about
In a little colony.
yeah, like a commune.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks though. I actually did like a grown up budget for the first time, like and actually planned out, looked at how long it was going to take me to pay everything off. I'm like, oh god, it's going to take a while. So instead, I'm just going to list my car for sale.
Damn.
Just
Yeah.
sell it. Well, really, because if I sell it, it wipes out all the debt, and then I can just buy like either a little,
beater.
or I used to have it was a $500 '87 LeBaron convertible. My friend's dad sold to me and it was right at Christmas time too. So he's like, "Hey, my dad will let the LeBaron go for $500. Merry Christmas!" I'm like, that car was awesome. It was amazing. I'd had it for about a year and a half. And it was a 2-door, like fully loaded leather power windows, air conditioning, everything. Most comfortable car I've ever owned. And I always said that if the bill ever became more than what the car was worth, I was going to scrap it.
Mm-hmm.
So sure as shit, I had a bill at the end of like a year and a half, and it was about $800. And I said, "Can I take it home and scrap it?" And the guy's like, "Yep, just take it home. I wouldn't drive it." I'm like, "Perfect." I just take it home and called the junkyard, and they picked it up and took it to where this movie starts off.
Whoa!
In a junkyard.
Wow. I was
What?
wondering where you were going. That was really good.
Booyah.
Wow.
I've thought ahead on that one.
Damn. I'm impressed.
But it's all true.
Yeah.
We watched 13 Ghosts.
Yes.
Because it's now getting pretty close to October. You're a big Halloween horror movie fanatic.
Yeah.
A little more than I am. Because the last movie I actually thought was scary. I don't know, was anything I watched when I was 10 or younger.
Did you ever see Lights Out? No. It's on my
think,
list
yeah,
of
I think
movies I want, movies I
You've
want to do.
talked about it before.
I think it's on Netflix. It's really good. It made me afraid of the dark. Like still sometimes, like my grandparents were in Alberta for like 17 days and I was in my house by myself and it's like hardwood so you can hear the house settling from like the opposite end of the house. It's spooky. And I would like turn off my light in the bathroom to go to my room, which is like across the hall. And to this day, sometimes when I'm by myself and I just like turn the light off and I'm walking in the dark, I think of that movie and I'm like, fuck.
It's what you just have to have. It can only get you when the lights are off or what?
Yeah, it can only come out when the lights are off and then it doesn't like light. So I'll like run to my room, open my door, leap into my bed. And then I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but ever since I was a kid, there's one random song that I will start singing out loud to make me feel not scared anymore. And I started it, I think when I was a kid, I was allowed to watch movies like this because this came out in 2001, and I watched Ghost Ship and Pet Sematary. And for some reason, the one song to this day that makes me feel more calm and better is "My Loneliness is Killing Me, and I must confess, I still believe. So I'm by myself in my room, almost 25 years old, and I'm like, hit me, baby, one more time. Also, oops, I did it again too. I'll be in my room and I'll be like, oops, I did it again from the start.
Just because you're scared of the dark?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
no. Like anytime I'm like scared, like if I watch a movie that sticks with me, or like a scene sticks with me, or if I just spook myself, because I don't know if I specifically like put a lot of eggs in the I believe in ghosts basket, but I don't not believe there's like spirits and energies and stuff.
I'm in the same boat.
So if I like, you know how you spook yourself and you start getting into your own head and you look in the dark and you see, you know, you think you see a person, but you're like, it's just a bunch of clothes on my chair or whatever. Like when I start getting myself scared and wound up, I'll just be like, oops, I did it again.
I can honestly say I haven't like legitimately done that since I was like, I don't know, you usually do it when you move into a new place. It's always for the first couple days when you move into a new place, you're like, the way I have this room set up seems odd in the night, in the dark.
Or I'll like set booby traps in my room where like I'll put like loud things in front of my door so that if someone comes in when I'm sleeping, I'm like alert and awake and I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like,
who's going into your room when you're sleeping though?
An intruder, a ghost.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
Sometimes I get myself hyped up, and the only way I can make myself feel better is singing Britney Spears and setting up booby traps in my house, like the Goonies.
I can see you walking into work the next day just looking exhausted. Well, what happened, Katie? You look kind of tired. Oh, just ghosts. Got a little wound up last night.
I set up a bunch of traps.
Too many
in my
booby traps.
place.
I
Like I
went
was
to the
Kevin
bathroom at 2,
McAllister.
scared the shit out of myself. The bells started going off. Anyway.
But yeah, so this, when I was a kid, 13 Ghosts, when I watched it, it spooked me.
I always have to remember that there's what are you, 25? It's a 12-year gap between us. So when you're saying like, oh, watch this as a kid, I'm like, I was 19. I was 19. This was like, it wasn't scary at all.
Yeah.
But like I could see
it was
this being
scary to an 8-year-old.
Yeah, so I'm kind of envious in a way because you got all these movies that I watched as a teenager and a guy in my 20s as like childhood horror movies, where I got things like
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Fuck, I try to not think of that movie because I remember
one
where I remember one distinct moment in one of them where this person was in their dream and they were being force fed by Freddy, and it was just it was disturbing to watch. I'm just like, oh my god. He's like, yeah, fucking eat up. I can't remember how he talks.
Jesus.
All I can think of is Scary Terry from Rick and Morty. You're gonna die, bitch. So we watched 13 Ghosts. This was your choice.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this one for a while. I didn't know it was a remake. I just found that out tonight.
Oh yeah, and what was super cool, the original one was 60s, right?
1960.
Yeah. What was super cool is they, in this movie, the characters have to wear specific glasses in order to see the ghosts. But in the 1961, theater goers could choose to pick up glasses. And if you were wearing those glasses, you would see the ghosts in the film. But if you didn't wear the glasses, you were watching the film and you would just see things float and you wouldn't see the ghosts. So it was a super cool premise.
What if there was one hipster kind of guy back then was like, I don't need the glasses. I'm gonna feel the ghosts.
And he's like, what
through other people that are watching.
Yeah,
with the glasses.
That guy didn't know what the fuck was happening.
I could totally see the ghosts without the glasses, bro.
Yeah.
You just got to do enough acid, man.
Just open your mind enough.
We're at the movies? What is this thing?
What's the difference between movies and real life? I can't tell anymore.
You didn't watch a movie, bro. You are the movie.
The movie watched you.
So, but yeah, they start in a junkyard.
Yeah.
And quick observation I made was, why are there fires in the junkyard? And then you said, why is there, was it fog?
Windy fog.
Windy fog.
Like,
This is the
it was
most-
fog, but the wind machine was too powerful, so it was blowing the fog from the fog machine all over the place.
It was almost like they said, they were like, hey, can we borrow your junkyard? We got to do a little meetup. And the owner was like, yeah, come at like midnight because we'll just be wrapping up shooting the Motley Crue music video. And you guys have it all to yourself.
Actually.
Probably what it was.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Mm-hmm.
They weren't really making, I don't know if they were making music back in 01. They might have
I don't
been.
know.
So I couldn't think of another band off the top of my head. It was like,
No.
Motley Crue in a junkyard works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, totally. And that's their aesthetic, like windy fog and
Windy
fire.
fog and fires, bro.
Windy
With the
fog.
long hair playing the riffs. So, yeah, this is where we discover Matthew Lillard always, to me, seems like he's shouting. Even if he's talking, he always seems like he's shouting.
Yeah,
Or he yells a lot in this movie.
that's true. But yeah, the only movie I've seen him in that I can remember where he's not yelling or not seeming like he's yelling is when he's Shaggy in the live action Scooby-Doo.
I
Because
still haven't watched it. We should review it.
we should! Oh my God!
Okay, so
I
we
might.
meet Cyrus, old
Cyrus
Cape,
and Dennis.
Cape and Cane evil man.
Literally, his first time in this scene, and he has a long to the floor cape that's red on the inside and a cane, and I'm like, and he rolls up in a car that's like chitty chitty bang bang.
It was a little weird. And
Yeah.
the music too.
Yeah, it's like
It's a little dramatic. I'm like, that was like spot on.
thank you.
Dun, 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 dun. I can't even do it. But I love how he says, yes, the ghost will be here soon. And then
Prepare for our guests.
He goes, clean this place up and prepare for our guests.
Yeah, like
Did you want him to clean the junkyard up?
clean this fucking mess up.
Scrub those scrap cars. I love how all of the cars are placed in stacks
Yeah, like
that are just prepped
yeah,
to
like
be pushed
Jenga cars.
over. And they just fall like dominoes. It's like, uh-oh, there goes one. So I had this issue with Matthew Lillard for the whole movie. Every time he gets hit with his psychic power, he looks like he's coming when he doesn't want to be. You know, like in public, like he's just like, oh no, oh God, no. And he like yells like, ah.
Oh my God.
His face is like always vinegar strokes.
I
It's like
did
every time that
not
happens.
notice that.
No, the whole movie he's just
No.
and his movements and like
Oh, I'm never gonna see it the same.
because I'm asking myself right off the bat. I'm like, why he's been this kind of psychic power dude for a while. Why hasn't he learned to master that?
Yeah,
You
like
think
you can't be out in public and accidentally bump into someone and be
Yeah.
like, "Ah!"
No, because everybody he touches, he just gets every bit
Like
of knowledge and
yeah.
memory they have. So I just kept thinking,
Like-
stop shouting.
Yeah,
Get this
that's
under
how
control.
lawsuits happen.
You've had this for your whole life.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
like, hey, very nice to meet you. Just shaking hands with people. Then you should just be able to go, and they'll go, are you okay? You go, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I farted.
Your wife's cheating on you.
Yeah. Who's William by the way?
Is your name William? It's not. Oh shit.
Oh, forget I asked.
You better ask your wife. So yeah, I love this. So these people that just come out of nowhere. These
Yeah.
two, the woman and the guy. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this, and I get a kick out of this. She looks down, spits on his shoes.
Yeah, but you can tell it's like a dry spit. She's like,
Yeah, but if you really hate someone,
You
you're
spit
like,
in their face.
You piece of shit. Yeah, you got to get a
yeah.
just let it go.
See that
in the face.
that right there is like why like spitting on his shoes is low key like not showing him respect, but showing him a certain amount of respect because she didn't spit in his face.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, I don't hate you that much.
Yeah.
And you might just murder me if I spit in your
That's
face.
true. He might just shank her with his cane.
So now they're gonna try and lure this. 'Cause he's
Yeah,
like,
with-
he touched the ground and he knows that the thing with
The
the
Juggernaut.
killed. He said he killed 9 people, and he's like, "There was actually 40, man." So then he's like, "He's on his way. He'll be here soon." He's like, "All right, get to the bait."
Get to the bait.
Bring out a truck of blood, and which we see in one real quick cut shot. Apparently, some bodies.
Yeah, like did they kill their own men
Just
for their
bring-
blood? But it was dismembered. It was like an arm and a leg, and
Yeah.
like there were intestines there.
I didn't scroll back to look because I was like, man, it's gonna be late when we finish this. So
Yeah. But yeah, like, was it a sacrifice or did the Juggernaut already kill those guys
Yeah,
just
I
for a
don't know.
little appetizer?
Oh, you know what? Maybe that was. Maybe the Juggernaut killed some people in that. But if he killed people in
then
that
where'd they
junkyard,
get the blood?
well, yeah. And then why hadn't someone? I guess it's a junkyard, but people work in a junkyard. There's gonna be
True.
somebody who might have noticed that.
Yeah.
But he set the fires, you know, and
Yeah.
just got the fog machine out. So I don't know where they came from, but yeah, blood and bodies.
So then they play this spell to lure the ghost to the cube. And I
The
said,
cube.
it sounds like the creature spell from Scooby-Doo. And I pulled it up on my phone. Let's see if it's... Like, this is faster, but it sounds the same.
Maybe it was.
Maybe,
that was
and they just sped it up.
Maybe
'Cause
when
if
they
I-
made Scooby Doo, they'd like, "Hey, Matthew Lillard, what have you done before? Oh,
Yeah,
13
13,
ghosts.
yeah.
Let's just copy that spell." It'll be like a little, what do they call those Easter eggs in the movie?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking up 13 Ghosts spell chant right now.
So this whole scene, like the shit getting knocked over and the ghost and thing, like you did point out that they did a lot of real effects and it wasn't a ton of CGI.
Yes.
So I did appreciate that. Like for me, I'm not like that stuff doesn't scare me like that.
I found it.
Because it's just jump scares mostly and like flash. This is from the movie we just
Yeah.
watched?
It's...
I don't know, it could be. But
I just think it's a hilarious coincidence because Matthew Lillard's in both this and Scooby Doo.
so yeah, the scene like the scare tactics for me, like I can understand being 7 or 8 years old,
Yeah.
watching this being like, being freaked out. And I'm watching it as an adult going, okay, it's not really that scary. But it was well done, well shot, well edited, like you had mentioned at one point.
Yeah, the flash editing between briefly seeing the Juggernaut as if all these guys would having the glasses on, but then not because you're still the viewer and you don't have the glasses. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, it was the sequencing was pretty sweet. And this scene, like where he's just running
It
into the
was
containment cube, I was
brutal.
like, holy fuck, he just smashed him around
Side to
that thing. And
yeah.
then it wasn't him, but he pulled a dude up into the top
Jenga
2
cars.
cars on the Jenga stack and
then
pushed
pulled
him
him
through or pulled him through either
by
way.
the stomach backwards and turned him into a sandwich.
That was
That was
yeah.
rough.
It was like kind of hard to watch. So like the violence was pretty good. I didn't realize it was rated. It was 18A. So I guess
Yeah,
that's,
right. Going into it, you'd automatically think like this is probably going to be PG-14 or something.
That's what I was thinking because I remember in my head I'm going, how do we make this movie better? Like
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, probably just the more gruesome deaths and stuff because it's probably not R. Then I
But
checked
it
IMDb. I'm like, oh, it is. Yeah, it was pretty good.
And then in this commotion with the Juggernaut getting captured, we find out that Cyrus died, and then
yes.
Kalina's partner Damien died,
That's right.
and
then
they
we get
both
the-
had their throats slashed.
And then we get the long intro.
Yeah, the big long intro with like exposition, but background exposition, so you can't quite hear it. But it's showing like a happy family outside, husband and wife, and then it's circling slowly and panning around the house, and then you hear a fire alarm,
Into an upstairs hallway, it seemed. And
Yeah.
then some commotion
and
behind
then
the door. What's
yelling,
happening?
yeah, and then just mom, and then you hear in the hospital like, "I'm sorry, sir, we did everything we could," and so it doesn't do a good job of like explaining.
No, because I was like looking at my phone, typing something in at that point, and you're like, oh, so because it went right into the next shot was was them sitting in like a dingy apartment. He's looking at a brick wall, so you're like, okay,
Compared
he's
to
living
the
in a tiny
suburban
place.
house.
Yeah, and then it pans past him, and there's past due, overdue, past due. And then we come into, it's like, oh, Shannon Elizabeth walks in the bedroom. It's like, oh, it's breakfast time. And she, so we're to be expected to believe that she's in like her teens.
Because she straight up looks like
23,
Yeah.
24, because this is after American Pie, right?
Yeah.
In American Pie, she was high school.
Yeah.
But like even there, you're like, I don't know, you're looking like college.
Yeah.
You know, maybe first, second year.
Mm-hmm.
So, because at one point they say, oh, they're just kids. I'm like, no, she looks like she's an adult.
Yeah, she's
Because the next scene, he starts complaining about, oh, I can't afford this. I'm sorry, this is the best place we can get on my salary.
She's like, because he trips on his son's scooter, and she's like, wouldn't it happen if we had a bigger place? Like, are you like, you rude bitch?
Well, it's okay.
You're 23. Get a goddamn job.
That was my thought. I'm like, why aren't you working? to
Yeah,
help?
you dumbass.
Well, they have a nanny, a
Who
babysitter.
doesn't do anything.
Why this? I don't understand why when you have a full-grown daughter
Yeah.
that can babysit your old enough and capable son. Why are you paying a nanny when you can't pay the bills and live in a decent sized place?
Yeah. Like, it looks like you're probably living in like a 2-bedroom.
She doesn't cook.
Yeah.
She apparently doesn't do
Windows.
She's useless. And she can't even keep an eye on the kid.
I know.
Which is, in his words, what he's paying her for.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
And then, like, we're getting ahead, but later on, she, like, makes a remark about how she needs to ask for a raise. Like, no!
Oh, yeah. It's like, no, you make him too much already.
Yeah.
So I love so between the argument in the kitchen and there's a cutaway to a shot of a guy walking down a hallway because we meet this, what was his name? I just call him GQ Smooth Face.
Yeah,
because he had perfect skin.
Yeah. They were calling him, like, the suit and the lawyer. I don't think we really got his name.
The suit, Smooth Face. Smooth Face Suit.
Smooth Face
GQ
Suit.
Smooth Face. But he's that's the slowest slow motion shot I've ever seen. I'm like,
I know.
Just
of him walking with a briefcase. Like, this is necessary. Okay.
Yeah, it was one shot with him moving one leg with briefcase, and then the next one was him doing like the first slow motion knock on the door. I'm like, why are you being so overdramatic with this?
I know.
This is insane. But so then he comes in there and starts telling, oh yeah, you have an uncle, he's deceased, blah blah blah. Or no, then the nanny's like, oh, look at that, Sonny, you got a late uncle. Yeah. He's like, what's a late uncle? And Shannon Elizabeth says, well, he's gonna be late for his next birthday. I'm like, technically no, he's just dead. Like, he wouldn't be early or late for your next birthday, would you? You're just gonna miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just not gonna have it. I'm just splitting hairs here. It's just the writing in this was a few times where I was going, ugh, come on.
Yeah, sometimes, like, dialogue, I'd be like, oh, cringe.
Oh, okay. So this makes total sense. We're totally going to spoil this right now.
Boom.
So they
get ready.
He gets the house key.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we're not going to spoil it. I'm just going to hint at something.
Okay.
They get the house key, and then they got to watch the video of him saying like, hey, this is what
Cyrus
you got to do.
leaving his will.
Yep, here's what you get, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, he's like, perhaps we'll see each other again.
In another life.
In another life. And I laughed right there and was like, it almost sounded like he was just trying to cover up that he wasn't supposed to say that first line.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, right, shit, in another life.
Yeah.
And then bye. And I was like,
Cyrus out.
I don't think he's dead. That was my prediction right there. And then we'll continue on.
And then, so they're heading to the house, and it's at this point that I turned to you, and I was like, we don't know where they are.
Where are we?
Like, there's no location set.
But I think it doesn't really...
True.
It doesn't pertain to any part of the story because the whole movie takes place in this house.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how... I did point out how crass the son was when... I can't remember who it was. I think it was the suit that asked about the wife.
Oh, yeah.
He's like...
She got burned to death in a fire and died.
Just in case you missed that opening
intro.
intro part, like you were looking at someone in the theater or when you were watching it going, hey, what's this movie about anyway? I don't even know. Oh, shit, what's going on?
And then Shannon Elizabeth is like, Bobby! Yeah. And he's like, it's true.
What? I like to tell that story.
Yeah.
It's a great story. Someone else's mother died of cancer. So this house, I figured it was covered in nursery rhymes or limericks first.
Yeah, it's all glass. It's a 2-story, no, three-story, because basement, regular, and then upper
first
level.
and second floor in a basement.
Yeah. And it's all glass, and it has writing all over the walls. And he goes to put the key in, and he turns it, and then the key gets sucked into the house.
It's a pretty crazy house.
And immediately I would be like, what the fuck?
The house took the key. We're leaving, kids. We're going outside.
The house took the key. We can't get in. This is it.
This place is kind of freaky.
Yeah.
How much would it cost to heat that place?
Oh, probably a shit ton. Being all glass, not even like mostly glass, partly hardwood. All glass. It would be so cold in there.
Are there windows, or do you just have to open a whole wall?
Yeah, you probably don't open anything at all.
Are there screens?
Because if you open it, the damn ghosts are gonna get out.
So maybe they live in a place where
maybe
it's warm.
Maybe that's why Arthur was wet all the time.
He was. Maybe they're in a place with a lot of humidity because he was greasy.
Yeah,
through this whole movie.
Like he didn't even step foot in that house. We are introduced to Arthur, and he's wet.
His wet. He's moist.
He's wet.
Could you live in this house?
No.
Because we did see some
If it were
bedrooms and a bathroom and stuff.
Yeah, like it seems like when they were exploring the house, the bedrooms and the bathrooms were like in the middle of the house, meaning there'd be like a lot of layers of the glass walls before you got to the rooms. Mm-hmm. But still, it's all see-through glass. It's not frosted.
The bathroom's frosted.
Yeah,
glass
true.
Cubes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a very nice bathroom.
No, she was freaking out about it, and I was like, "What do you have at home? A trough?"
Yeah, like it looked cool, but it was just at a clawfoot tub. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a bathroom like that, put a fucking big ass jacuzzi tub in there.
Yeah, and a stand-up shower separately.
His and her sinks.
Yeah.
Tons of mirrors, like at least like 2 opposite walls.
Yeah.
Like do that shit right.
Yeah. So we discover Arthur's like looking at the walls, and there's Latin. And then when they get to the house, Dennis from the junkyard scene is there, dressed up like a power guy, trying to get in, and he does. He's under the guise of being a power dude. And then, this is when the babysitter's like, I don't do windows. I'm like,
she is just
annoying.
A terrible babysitter.
And then I made a comment that it looks more like a museum than a house. Like he has a samurai armor around. He has like gold stuff.
Katana sword.
Yeah.
There's a weird the one weird thing that was really out of place with all this stuff in the house was when she was laying on that bed. And she like looked over at the shelf, and there's like a creepy doll head.
Yeah, it's like a 1920s vanity.
Yeah, she looks like little. You see like things that are normal that seem to like they should be there. Then there's a doll's head.
Yeah,
and she's like, "This place is
awesome."
Why aren't you going? That's scary.
That's fucking weird.
Why is that doll head there?
Yeah. So then the nanny so Arthur and the lawyer go to the library to like sign papers, and he's like, don't go anywhere. And then as soon as he's out of earshot and eye line, the nanny's like, all right, let's go. Like your one job, the one thing that you are paid for because you don't do anything else is watching the kids, and you're like, yeah, let's go run around this glass house. Fuck it.
She's a totally irresponsible employee.
Yeah.
Who is like should just be this close to getting fired.
Yeah.
Seeing as how he can't afford anything. Mm-hmm. He's a math teacher too, he says.
Yeah.
I think this movie, the deep underlying story here is
teachers don't get paid enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are doing the work, training these kids, molding their minds. I imagine it probably sucks being a teacher right now. Just because of smartphones.
Oh God, yeah.
Like we didn't have cell phones. Did you have a cell phone in school?
No.
No?
I didn't have a cell phone until high school.
Did other people have cell phones in school though? Did you was it annoying?
Yeah, especially because like when I was in middle school, like the iPhone had just come out, like iPods had just come out, cell phones were new and really, really big. So the people that had them were automatically the cool ones and the rich ones. So it was really like ostracizing as a person who didn't have a cell phone, because immediately you were like, hey, not allowed. Hey, you can't afford it.
No phone, no phone.
But yeah, it was like so many times teachers would be like, put your phone away, put your phone away, put your phone away. And then they'd be like, hey, give me your phone. And then that would start the argument, the student being like, this is not your property. You can't take this away from me.
You're obstructing the class.
Yeah.
You ignorant piece of shit.
As a teacher, I'd just be like, all right, go in the hall and play on your phone all you want.
Yeah.
Rather than taking it away, because, like, yeah, it's not their property. And if it gets damaged in the teacher's property, then, like, a parent could be like, you had to buy my kid a new phone. So I'd just be like, get the fuck out of my class. Go play on your phone. Fuck you.
It's not going to get.
No, I know, but.
No, that would spawn an idea of creating an app that teenagers could use. That when they have to give their phone to the teacher, they just turn the app on.
Break it.
And they're like, you better not break it. Yeah, and what it does is it deactivates.
It's a blue screen of death.
And you can reactivate it from your friend's phone with the same app and click it as soon as you get your phone back. So you're like, teacher's got to pay for a brand new phone.
TM'd. Trademark it.
This is my idea.
Don't you dare steal this. It's September 2019.
A remote deactivation app.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get your friend and be like, hey, deactivate my phone. But no. Well, if you give permission to that person,
yeah,
that's the rub right there.
Actually, that's a smart idea too. If your phone ever gets stolen,
yeah,
to just deactivate it.
I wonder if that exists.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to edit this out.
Yeah,
I'll leave it in. Don't steal my.
Don't steal this.
Hey, listen, our 9 listeners.
Yeah,
don't steal.
Don't you dare.
I know people that can build apps. Okay.
So then they're in the library, and Dennis starts having another episode.
That's what we're calling his vinegar stroke cum face. Another episode.
And then Arthur's like, oh my God, are you okay? And he comes to get him, and he just goes into like full on episode, and he's like drooling, and he's like, don't touch me, don't touch me.
Yeah, he just learns everything about Arthur.
And then he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of this house. Grab your kids. Do the same. And he's like almost crying. And Arthur's like, nah.
I don't think so, bud.
And already Dennis has been like, there are ghosts in this house. And he's like, no, there aren't. And Dennis is like, okay, I'll just go fuck myself. Like, if someone that passionately, who I had just met in a house I just inherited, was like, grab your kids, do the same, get out. I'd be like, bye.
You also have to consider, though, like, he could be a con man. He already conned his way into the house.
True.
Because, like, he conned his way into the house by lying about who he was with fake ID. Getting in there, he already went, like, snuck off to the basement and checked out some shit and looked for some ghosts. He's like, oh, well, there's ghosts here. So you got to be a little skeptical, because he might just be trying to get you out of the house so he can, like, close the door.
Yeah, true.
And then murder you.
Yeah.
Let's go into the forest where there's no one for miles. It's okay.
And then while Dennis and Arthur are talking, the lawyer sneaks off to this room to go get his briefcase of money.
Because he's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
He's the bad guy.
And then he goes downstairs with a pair of glasses on. And then from there, you know that he knew the ghosts were there the whole time and was plotting it. And then he walks by the angry princess, and he's like, nice tits.
What? Like, what? Maybe before she died?
Yeah, but
it's a nice boob job, but they're all sliced up.
Yeah.
This is nasty. If he's into that kind of shit.
Maybe. And then he picks up his briefcase and then sets off a chain of events that starts releasing the ghosts into the house. And then the first ghost to get released is the angry princess. So she is slowly coming after him, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just kidding. Lawyer humor. Ha 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 ha. And he backs up, and then these 2 glass doors shut and slice him in half vertically. And the practical effects on that were good.
It was cool.
The front half of his body slides down, and you can see like all his insides, and the girl ghost is just standing there like, all right, on to the next one. Fuck you.
My one issue with that scene is what company is creating doors strong enough to cut a person in half the other way, like through midline, arm to arm. That's just like, yeah, I want to install some doors in my basement. Okay, what sort of torque you want on them? I want to be able to cut people in half. Done.
Got it.
I'm gonna give you the B3000 series. We'll hook you up.
And then I forgot to mention at this point, like Bobby and his shitty babysitter got separated. Bobby gets lured downstairs by a ghost that has also been released. And Shannon Elizabeth is going from in the bathroom of her room, freaking out, being like, "Oh my god!"
And she's deaf as fuck. Like,
yeah. So then the angry princess ghost goes upstairs and is in the bathroom with Shannon Elizabeth. And there's a cool shot of the glasses sitting on the counter, and the shot zooms in so you can see what the glasses see, and the bathroom just covered with blood. And it says "I'm sorry" on the bathroom floor in blood, which I didn't get. That's one thing that wasn't revealed in the background of the ghosts or the trivia. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really who wrote it there.
Yeah. So then Shannon Elizabeth is checking herself out in the damn mirror, and her vanity is so consuming that she doesn't hear the loud plastic crinkling of the shower curtain opening, and she doesn't see it in the reflection of the mirror that she's already looking in. Like, are you just mesmerized by your own eyes? Like, what? Like,
she was quite stunning.
That's true.
She's a horrible actor, though.
Yeah.
She's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Well, not really hard to watch. I love how that Bobby kid is wearing the clear glasses. I don't know if I know any kid roaming around on a scooter who'd be like, "Oh, check out these clear glasses. They look so cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep them on." Like, why would you wear them?
Yeah.
It was
weird.
That didn't make any sense.
No, it was to help the prop.
Yes.
Plot.
Oh yeah, but there was we figured there was at that point I was going, are there good and evil ghosts?
Yeah, because one voice was like, "Come here, Bobby, come and play."
The other one's going,
which doesn't sound.
No, get out of here.
Yeah, which
don't go down here.
Neither of those voices sound like his babysitter or sister, and he's like,
"What are you guys doing downstairs?"
Yeah, cut it out.
I'm gonna come down there. I'm gonna tell Dad.
Maggie.
I'm gonna tell Dad.
Like, you'd think you'd listen to someone being like, "Don't come downstairs, dummy." And then, so they all go to leave, or they all go to find Bobby. They go to the front door so he can get Maggie and his daughter out, and the house locked them in.
Mm-hmm.
And now Dennis, Matthew Lillard's character, has gone from "grab your kids, get out of here" to "it's all sealed up. Calm down, Arthur.
We're not going anywhere."
We're not. What part of that's not getting through?
His character went from he was just like a pinball. It's one spot to the other. I'm gonna be like this now. Now I'm gonna yell. Now I'm gonna be like yelling.
Yeah. So then it's revealed by Dennis that he keeps saying there are ghosts in the house, and everyone's like, "You dummy." And then he's like, "Oh, these are containment spells all over the walls."
Yes, not limericks.
And then at this point, I laughed and I made a note. I like Lillard's character because he's calling everyone out. Like, they go to look for Bobby. He literally just said there are ghosts in the basement. And then Arthur goes downstairs and he's like, "No. Did I just say there was a petting zoo down there? No, there are ghosts in the basement."
And that was a good line. He had there were like hints of decent writing in this.
Yes.
But it was such an outrageous story.
I know.
It was hard to just go, all right, I'm just going to pretend I believe it.
And then Arthur was like tiptoeing around him, still not believing they were ghosts. But he was like, "Okay, well, you said they were all locked up, so it should be fine to just go look for my son, okay?"
If someone told me, like if I walked in here one day, well, man, I don't know if I could say this. Let's say I went to a hotel or something, and some guy gave a convincing performance about how my hotel room was really haunted. I'd probably just go, "Yeah, I'm just going to go to a different hotel."
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just go somewhere else.
Yep.
I'm not going to go, maybe.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, maybe it's not in like my bed. Maybe it's hanging out on the balcony. I'm gonna give it a chance here.
I'm gonna give it a go.
No, if I'm gonna go, well, I can get my money back. And
It's
go to a
only
different
my
hotel.
life.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, no. And then they go downstairs and they split up to look for the ghosts.
Classic.
Yeah, classic rookie mistake in horror movies. Let's split up. So then Matthew Lillard and the stupid ass babysitter are together and they're walking around and there's this ghost that like jumps out at the glass and scares the shit out of Matthew Lillard. And he had another good line. He's like, I hate it when they do that.
Wait till you stick your head around there and then rah!
And then she's like, don't do that. And she finally takes the glasses and sees a ghost. And now she believes. And he's like, basically like, I told you, bitch. And then he's like, they're everywhere. And then she's like, I don't see any others. And that's when he sees the glass doors are open on some of the containers. And he's like, oh, fuck.
He's put 2 and 2 together and figured out that they're being released.
And
they cut back and forth to Bobby getting chased. I love how he just head first right into that glass door.
Like, you should have seen it. There's Latin writing all over it. It's not like you have the excuse of, it was a really clean tour.
That's the reason that I wouldn't want to live in this house, because just imagine coming home after the bar, a few drinks, you smoke some weed, and you're like, I can't.
Where the fuck's my room?
You go to the kitchen, you got a bowl of fucking leftover chili, a glass of red wine, and you're like, fucking bag of chips under your arm, like, watch some TV, and just boom.
Right into a wall.
Oh. You'd be so fucking angry. That place would just be a mess.
Yeah.
I hate this place. It'd be a great paintball arena, though. Or a cool place to shoot a movie. Well, shoot a movie. No, never mind. Be a cool paintball place, though.
So then Bobby's getting chased around downstairs. And he, like, gets knocked down. He falls down off a scooter. And then we see a woman burned with an IV coming up to him, being like, get out of the basement. And we're like, oh, his mom's here. Great.
She didn't look that burnt.
No, she didn't.
She was like half burnt. I'm like, I thought she burned to death.
Yeah.
If you burnt to death, she'd just be a charred corpse.
Maybe half her body was like 3rd-degree burns, and she got like burnt, like smoke inhalation and stuff. But
nah, I don't buy it. The kid said burned to death.
Yeah, he's
burned
like,
to death.
my mom burned to death in a fire.
Not died like the dad on This Is Us with smoking inhalation afterwards. That was so hard to watch.
Oof. I know. That was, that was so sad.
That show was fantastic. I watched it all 2 seasons by myself. I've never cried so much in my own apartment. Why'd you have to go back to the house, Jeff?
I know.
Why'd you go back to the dog?
I know. And then you think everything's fine.
She's just eating a chocolate bar. Like, oh, what are you talking about? No, he's fine. He was right there, and he's like, I can't know. He's not. And you're like, motherfucker, don't do it to me.
Yeah.
Holy, that show. There's a
Spoilers.
third season's got to be done airing and out on Netflix soon.
Yeah.
Because I think season 4 is starting. I don't know. I love that show. I was waiting until season 3 was all done. I might have to just download it pretty soon here and watch it and have a really good old cry.
So
I might add, a few times they've shown shots of the gigantic inner workings of this house.
Yeah.
The gigantic gear
Gears.
machine. And I just kept, every time they cut back to it, because it didn't really, we knew it was there.
Yeah.
We didn't need to see it 2 more times.
Yeah.
I just kept picturing the director going, all right here, I want to put in let's cut to the CGI gear shots.
Yeah.
I want to put it in right there. Yep. Leave it for about 4 seconds. All right, we're good. Cut it. All right, next scene.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jesus.
And then, so it cuts back to Matthew Lillard and Maggie, and the ghost does another jump scare, and then Matthew Lillard like flips him off, and then like the one instance of actual psychic abilities comes, and he sees his own death.
How was he dying? I totally missed that.
He when he gives him the finger, he just sees like the hammer
Smashing his hand?
yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
he sees him like his body getting flown around, and he's like,
Gotcha.
oh shit.
Okay, I totally missed that because it was a flash. You're like, oh, he just saw his own death. I'm like, okay, sweet.
So then it flashes to the father and daughter, and she's like, Dad, maybe there are ghosts. And he's like, Kathy, fucking listen to yourself. There aren't ghosts in here. And she immediately after like slowly puts on the glasses, and we see the jackal, which according to Dennis's character is the Charlie Manson of ghosts. So I watched this video before coming over, a backstory about all the ghosts. So the jackal was this guy who was born a long time ago to a prostitute. He had a very unhealthy relationship with women. He started like assaulting and attacking and like killing, and then he got committed to an insane asylum. And every time like they put him in a straitjacket, and every time he got rowdy, they'd tie it tighter and tighter, and then he started like chewing at his straitjacket to get out of it. So they put a cage on his head, and that's why his like lips are gone and it's just his teeth. And then they locked him in the like basement of the insane asylum, and then a fire broke out in the insane asylum. Everyone escaped except for him. He decided to stay in there rather than like trying to get out, and burned to death, which is also why he like runs away from the flares. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Why would you make a movie where you need to know so
you
many
need to
fine
watch a
points?
YouTube video.
Yeah, so many fine points of the history of the ghosts.
I know.
Because like you going in knew the story of the ghosts.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't even know there was a story to these ghosts.
Like the hammer that scared Matthew Lillard. He's this big guy and he has nails all throughout his body.
Railroad spikes in his head
Yeah.
and body.
So what happened was he was accused of like stealing, and his town turned on him, and he was a blacksmith. So they hammered all of his like railroad nails into him, and he was tied to like a tree stump. And then as a last fuck you, they cut off his dominant hand and attached his hammer that he used for blacksmithing to it.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't like at one point I was like, he has a hammer for a hand?
Yeah.
And then you explained it after. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
So then she puts on the glasses and sees the jackal, and the jackal just fucking tackles her. And this was a scary shot because half of the shot you see her just like by herself floating on the ground, and then she gets like dragged up a wall and then the other half you would see the jackal like maniacally laughing and attacking her, and like you'd see him scratch her, and then there'd be a shot without him in there and you see scratches appearing on her face.
Yeah, that was kind of neat.
And then they did the sex appeal thing because it's Shannon Elizabeth from
yes.
American Pie, and he slashed off her shirt and her boob
That
came
was
out.
one of my favorite parts right there.
And then Arthur is like, "Oh my God, what the fuck?"
Yeah, she gets then Arthur and Junkyard Chick from the
Kalina
beginning. Kalina drag her.
appears.
Yeah, she appears out of nowhere, and
Arthur's
then
like,
they drag her away.
"Who the fuck are you?" And she's like, "That's not prevalent right now."
Yeah, and they start dragging Shannon Elizabeth away. I'm like, she's awake and with it. Just
Yeah.
make her get up and run.
Yeah.
She's like, hurry. He's coming.
I know.
Oh my God. I'm like, you helpless piece of shit.
Yeah.
I pointed that out at one point too.
Yeah.
I said, nobody in this movie fought
fights
back.
back.
Nobody
Yeah.
fights back against any of these ghosts. They're all like, oh, don't touch me. Stop scratching me.
Yeah.
Nobody takes a swing. Nobody pushes them. Nobody kicks them. Nobody does anything.
I know, they're just
to
like,
protect themselves.
yeah.
Like you deserve to die if you're not going to do anything to
Yeah.
help yourself. You helpless fucks.
So then Kalina talks about how she's in the spirit reclamation business.
So my first thought of that was Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
but it's the opposite. She likes to free
Yeah.
captured spirits, even the murderous ones. Apparently,
Yeah. Juggernaut, go.
Yep, you
Go
can-
free, baby.
be free.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Stay away from that children's hospital right there. No,
Yeah, no,
don't, no.
no.
Oh shit!
Oh, fuck.
God damn it!
Come on. Come on.
Again.
We have to work on this.
So yeah, she releases because apparently Dickbag Cyrus was holding these spirits hostage so she explains the whole thing here in about a minute.
Yeah.
The whole thing that the
house is a machine that powers the eye of hell.
Yeah. So
and-
it's built by Satan.
Built by the devil, run by the dead.
I wrote down
Trademarked.
built by Satan, powered by corpses, or just their souls.
Yeah.
So it's like wow, okay, now if I didn't really believe what was going on, you got me.
Yeah, and she lays out, like, the jackal stops attacking because they go past a barrier spell wall. And then she's like, all right, this is a perfect time for exposition, and whips out this book.
Yep.
And then she lays out the 12 ghosts, which is the
Are you trying to think of all the
all their
ghosts?
names. The kid, the unborn son or whatever, the firstborn son. That's number one. And then the torso. So I'll give quick backstory. Firstborn son, he was a kid playing cops and
Hey,
robbers.
shot in the head.
Yeah, and his friend shot him in the head with an arrow. The second one, a torso. He was a notorious gambler. He bet on a game, lost, tried to flee. The crime boss cut him up.
Took his
killed
legs,
him.
took his head.
Cut him up, dismembered him, wrapped him in cellophane. Number three is the bound woman, and she's all like strangled and bound. Number 4 is Arthur's wife, the withered lover. Number 5 is the angry princess. Number 6 is the torn prince. Number 7 is the pilgrimess. Number 8 and 9 is the big fat baby and its little tiny mother. Number 10 is the hammer. Number 11 is the jackal. And number 12 is the juggernaut.
Nice. I was just looking them up. I'm like, oh, she's going to get them all. You got them all.
Boom.
Well done.
Oh, yeah. The pilgrimess, she was like hung for being a witch. The angry princess was really vain. Constantly got plastic surgery done. One day she was left in the office by herself and she tried to do an operation on herself and ended up slicing herself up, hence the slices. The torn prince was a greaser and he played chicken with a guy and he died in a fiery car crash and he was like a lead baseball player. That's why he had the bat.
Why did his bat always spark on glass?
Yeah,
it was a wood bat. It was a wooden bat.
Yeah. I think that was a spark from the protection spells, like because he was touching it.
I guess so.
Okay, and then pilgrimess, and then the big fat baby
was disgusting.
Yeah, so the little mother was part of the circus and she got raped by the strong man or the big man.
The dire mother.
Yeah, the dire mother. And then the big fat baby was born to her and he was really simple and she like fed him all the time. And then the circus people killed the dire mother, and the big fat baby found out, so he killed everyone with the axe. That's why he had the axe.
Oh.
And then what was number 9 again? The 8 and 9. And then the hammer I already told you about. Jackal I already told you about. Juggernaut, he was a serial killer who like picked up hitchhikers and brought him back to the junkyard that was his dad's. That junkyard was the Juggernaut's family's junkyard, and killed people. And then the like cops and FBI found out, came to the junkyard. SWAT team put like a bazillion rounds in him. That's why he has gunshots all over the place. And he killed more people on the junkyard because the body count went from 9 when he was alive to 40 when he was dead. Boom.
I see. Nice.
Education.
Yeah, see, I had no idea.
Yeah, you're like
no
watching
idea.
this and you're like, okay, cool. All these ghosts, I know nothing about. Cool.
Well, the whole time I was kind of laughing about the nanny because she's just pulling the typical late 90s, early 2000s black comic relief, walking behind them, pacing, going, "Oh, I can't believe I'm going to die locked in here with these crazy white people.
Yeah,
why did I
like
even come to this house? I ain't get paid enough for this shit."
yeah, like
She drops
unnecessary.
just got her nails done at one point. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on.
like
She contributed nothing to this movie except for that, really.
except for being like a blown up stereotype, like
Yeah.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
So Lillard and Arthur and Dennis, they go, what do they go looking for?
Oh, well, Kathy fucks off again after Kalina's little EDU with her book. They're like, okay, let's get Kathy somewhere. And Kathy is gone. And I'm like, are you in another bathroom, bitch?
Yeah, that's right. She just
Where
disappears.
the fuck did you go?
And Bobby's still gone.
Yeah, Bobby's still gone. So then...
They never show what happens to him after he hits the glass.
I know. You'll never know.
Yeah.
Because the last time we see him is like the climax of the movie, the very end.
Yeah, he's a clone.
Yeah.
You didn't take Bobby home. He's still in the house.
So Kalina's like, we need to get to the library. It has containment
the
spells
library.
and protection spells. So then they climb up the wires that are conveniently there, and she just pushes the big glass thing out of the floor. And I'm like, okay, great. That's not secure at all. And then she climbs up, and then the hammer gets released. And Arthur's like, hey, get me the fuck up. And then they lift him up, and then, it's a close call, and then they're in the library. And then this big fight happens, and everyone's like, it's all your fault to Dennis.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They blame everything on him. It's like, no, it really wasn't.
Yeah. And then...
He was just doing his job.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, they have, like, random different shots of the house with
the inner workings of the house just to fill 2 minutes or maybe 45 seconds.
And then to like finish it with a jump scare lighting a flare. Like,
come on. So they decide to, Dennis and Arthur take the spell with them.
Oh yeah, they take the big glass wall with them,
thus weigh a ton,
leaving the library exposed to the ghosts when it's supposed to be the most protected place. Like,
and Arthur wouldn't be able to hold it anyway because he was sweating too much. So like the Juggernaut gets released, and Lillard's like, "Well, shit, man. There's only one of us behind there." He pins Arthur behind the spell and fights him. What does he say? What's that line he says?
He's like, "Hey, you're nothing but a bitch."
Oh yeah. Then he gets beat to shit and literally snapped in half.
Yeah.
He bent over backwards for that job. That. I'm like, Juggernaut just loves to snap people in half. It's
Juggernaut
crazy.
loves just snapping people like twigs. And then one thing I picked up on before they went, Arthur and Dennis, when she was going over all the ghosts, Kalina was like, "The withered lover, number 4, Jean. How did you know Arthur's wife's name?" Which we'll find out later, but nobody picked up on that.
Yeah.
And as Arthur, I would have been like,
yeah, how'd you know that?
Yeah, bitch, I didn't say my wife's name.
And you don't know her.
Yeah, and I just met you.
Because this movie does drop a few hints about this character. Because we find out very soon that she's a turncoat.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Dennis dies, and then...
And we find out Cyrus is alive.
Yeah, and then the spell starts happening again, and it's like...
Well, no, because, they team up. Kalina and him meet up, and then she's pulling the old like, "Oh my God, I did everything you asked for. I'm so sorry, I didn't dagger you, did I?"
Yeah,
she's like holding the spells. They're not spells aren't in the book. The spells are in her hand.
Way to build up a strong female character of like badass. I'm gonna free these ghosts, and reveal that she's just this guy's pawn. Because we find out Cyrus comes and walks, and Maggie is like, "Kalina, this flare isn't working," like getting rid of the ghost. And then Kalina like bashes Maggie over the head with a book. And we're like, "Oh, great, she's in on it." And she's like, "I did everything you asked. Why are you mad at me?" Like,
and then he crushes her.
Yeah. He's like,
literally.
He's like, "Get the book." And she goes and gets it. And she gets smushed in the walls.
Ugh. Talk about smothered.
Yuck.
That was my second last note, because my last note was remix.
Oh, yeah. So Arthur believes that in order to stop the Eye of Hell opening, he has to sacrifice himself and become the 13th ghost, which is the opposite. Like, that's what Kalina was setting him up to do, because the 13th ghost is going to open the Ring of Hell, not open it. So then he goes and looks at the living room because he hears his kids, and his kids are in the middle of this.
There's a name for one of those things. I couldn't. I should have looked it up. I think a gyroscope. It's not a gyroscope. It's something.
Yeah,
it's one of those weird ass.
It's a slicey dicey.
I've seen it somewhere else too. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, blades are coming up, whirring around. And he thinks his kids are in danger, and he sees all the ghosts wrapped around, and he starts counting the ghosts. And again, we get literally 5 minutes. Yeah, again, after 5 minutes.
Just in case you forgot, it's this ghost and this ghost. I'm like, why are they repeating it? And then you're like, he's figuring it out. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because he sees Cyrus.
He doesn't know yet. That's right.
Yeah, and he figures out that Cyrus isn't a ghost. And then they have like a little fight. And then...
You think if you were wearing those glasses and you saw anyone dead, you just kind of give it a little like, yep.
Just making sure.
Like,
Yeah, I'd be like,
is he real or not? Oh, yeah, he's dead. Yeah. He's dead. Oh, he's not. Motherfucker.
And then Cyrus is fighting and reveals why he chose Arthur, because of your pathetic family.
You're pathetic.
And then all of a sudden we hear wooka 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 wooka.
J-Rock, baby. J-Rock, baby.
And then the ghosts fuck off because they're not being summoned anymore. And then they go pick up Cyrus and throw him in the slicey dicey.
And there's no blood.
Yeah.
Not one drop of blood.
That was annoying.
It must be a really hot ring.
Yeah,
because
it cauterized everything.
Instantly.
And then Maggie, after fucking around with the spells and the audio, somehow that fucks up the machinery and the gears.
Overloads everything in the big gear machine.
Yeah, and she's in that room when it explodes. So
And
you're
those-
like, she dead. And then
Those kids are above that giant gear
yeah,
machine.
so
too.
they're
Everyone's
all
above
dead.
it, and nobody blows up.
No, the only thing that blows up is the house. The entire house, all the glass is shattered, so they don't have to worry about them being locked in anymore. And then, yeah,
Oh, then Matthew Lillard's ghost at the end.
yeah, he's like, "It's not over, Arthur."
Then he's like, you can end it. You can
can
save
do
it.
it.
You
Yeah.
can save them.
And then he jumps through the slicey dicey with his kids, and because he's a math teacher, he was analyzing it.
You can just be, when you're a kid playing video games, you can just time it out. You're like,
Yeah.
there it is right there.
Yep.
Yep, there it is right there.
There it-
1, 2, 3, 4. All right,
Yep.
there's the time jump. Come on, we've all played Mario Brothers.
Yeah. And then the entire house and the machinery blows up, and then they see their mom, and their mom is not burned anymore because I guess once you're free, you're healed as a ghost.
And I guess ghost hair blows in the real wind
Yeah.
as well. Because everyone's hair was just blowing.
Yeah. Like the ghost hair shouldn't be blowing.
Ghost wind.
Yeah. The fog wind.
13 ghosts to 14 ghosts.
And then the last scene is Maggie in the house being like, "That's it. This wasn't in the job
Oh,
description.
yeah,
I
God.
can't handle this. I'm sorry, Bobby, Kathy, ghosts. I quit." Like, whatever.
We're both going,
Bye.
please.
You should have
just
killed her
yes.
in the explosion.
How'd she not die, too?
I know
Usually
she was in the room with the gears.
Black person's always the first person to die, though, in a
That,
horror movie.
yeah, surprisingly,
That was wrong.
as many stereotypes as they had her be in this movie, that one wasn't one of them.
Because she was the only comic relief. Because really, Lillard's, he had a couple of all right, yeah, that could be kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I wasn't laughing at what he's saying. She was like, yeah, I could see people in the theaters like, oh, she's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's classic. Well, this movie, I don't know. It could have been, because you have to believe in ghosts
Yeah.
for it first. Or
Yeah.
just go, I'm not going to care what I believe in while I watch this, which is hard when you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
Especially because we're analyzing them too.
Yeah.
So that right off the bat, I'm like, okay, the ghosts looked cool.
Yes.
I-
all the practical effects were so good.
I'm annoyed that I had to watch a research video first and do homework before understanding the ghosts in the movie. But it didn't really change it much. The only thing for me was that all the ghosts were the same, interacted with everybody the same.
Yeah,
so
they were
just,
all
they were all jittery effects and quick cuts and stuff, and they would just slap you and slice you up and scratch you up and stuff. But none of them really. Kid with the baseball bat didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Just swung at people, but didn't do anything. Just didn't change his tactics at all.
Yeah.
Nobody really changed their tactics, and these were humans that are now ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So they should be able to problem solve and go, okay, that technique isn't working. Maybe I'll try something else. Maybe I'll go
Yeah.
for the legs. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll try to hit him in the body with this baseball bat.
Yeah.
But nobody changed anything, so it was just a repeat process for everything. And it was, once you got the scare from one ghost, I'm like, oh, this is just what I'm going to expect for the next 11.
yeah.
So that's where this movie kind of, I was just like, well, where's the excitement in this?
Yeah.
It's a kind of a neat story, very twisted story, and well thought out. And the
Yeah.
the hints of Kalina
Yeah.
being a bad guy, that was really well done. And because there's actually points where I'm thinking, I don't trust this person, or I really don't trust this
Yeah.
person. I don't think that guy's dead either.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff was well done.
I think we're in an era right now where everything is being remade. I think because this movie, like we said, was a remake. The original was
It's due for a
1960.
remake.
I think if this movie got a remake, it has the potential to be so fucking good.
I think so.
As long as they keep the practical effects. If they go the CGI route, it's going to be so much shittier because people are going to look at it and be like, you did practical effects in 2001 and they look a lot better than the CGI that you did now.
Yeah.
I think if they did a remake, keep the practical effects. If elaborate on the story more. Like if with this one, your point about basically having to research and watch a video behind the ghost stories, if you're going to have like such detailed ghosts and explain them all, like the withered lover, the hammer, blah, 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 give them the backstory in the movie, just briefly.
Yeah.
Like, and make it part of the plot. Don't just give it like, this is the hammer. He got hammered to a tree.
Juggernaut was big.
And he split people in half. Yeah, like if you're gonna like go through the whole thing of creating this fictional black zodiac and the eye of hell and this and that, if you're gonna go through and create that so detailedly and then go through and name all the 12 ghosts, slip in why Cyrus needed those souls and what specifically about like their personalities or their deaths was necessary. Also just like better acting and dialogue.
Yep, different casting.
Yes,
Casting choices were wrong.
the best performance from the main ensemble was from Matthew Lillard.
And even I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not a big Matthew Lillard fan. I never was.
But
I
that's
just remember
saying
from
something.
Scream.
Oh, yeah.
Always just weird expressions and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think they can make this movie better by putting it in the hands of Jordan Peele.
Oh my fucking God. Yes.
And going, work some magic on this.
Yes.
Because he could do,
And even changing the
amazing job with
story.
it.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah. I would love to see that.
I give this movie 7 ghosts
Out of 13.
out of 13 containment cubes. Out of the cubes.
Yeah.
So they're free to go murder people.
I will give this. Yeah, I'll give this 7 containment spells out of 13 walls that they're on.
Your mic stand sounds like a old house settling.
Oh, yeah. Great. Now I'm
Better
gonna have
start
to
singing Britney Spears.
Oops, I did it again.
I went and got scared. And I'm
Got
all
lost
by
in my
myself.
brain.
Ooh,
Oh,
I gotta
baby,
turn the lights on. All right. I'm getting stir
Yeah.
crazy. It's bedtime.
It's bedtime.
That was fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's call it there.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
This is Real Garbage.